Hi guys, I had gone live on Facebook earlier for to just share about John 3:16, and because of bad reception, people missed out on a lot of uh, pointers. So I decided, okay, I'll make a video and maybe share it on YouTube and share the link so you guys can actually go and have an uninterrupted video. So as I was saying, John 3:16, I was planning to like divide it into four and discuss the four parts of John 3:16. So I had given an introduction earlier on that. So the four parts would be: first, God's love and grace; secondly, his gift; third, his gospel; and fourth is his glory. So I had given an introduction earlier. Maybe I would again make a video and introduction, and I will share it so you guys can have all the four parts, four of four plus parts. So now the first part of John 3:16 I wanted to discuss with God's extravagant love and grace. So if you see the very nature of uh, God's character is love, and the ultimate existence of John 3:16 is God's love. I mean, God was not morally obligated to save the world, which had actually rebelled against him and against against the Creator. But it's burning love that God had that motivated him to give up his own son, right? So if you recognize, by recognizing on how much the father loved his son, we will actually understand his love for the world and the love for the son, right? Because he loved the world so much that he had to give up give up his son whom he loved dearly. I mean, the gospel constantly emphasizes on the mutual love between the father and the son and the relationship that they have. One of the very important concepts in Christianity is the Trinity. I mean, till it's a mystery, not everyone can understand the Trinity, but if you do understand the Trinity, you will understand that there is a not a biblical term, this is a theological term called as a perichoresis. That is it's called as a dance between the three person in the Trinity. And one of the relationship is between the father and the son, which is very beautiful. It's a very admirable relationship, but we truly cannot understand. But in his time, and you will definitely be able to understand the gravity and the beautiful relationship that the father and the son share. If you see, there are a lot of scriptures that talks about the relationship of the father and the son. So one of the verses would be John 3:35, that says the father loves his son deeply and entrusts everything to him. Okay, another verse is John 17:24, the father loves the son forever. And third verse is the son loves the father so much that he obeys the father's commandment to lay down his life for the world. That is John 14:31. So you see, there's an intimate relationship. It's an affectionate and a self-giving sacrifice. I mean, they submit. The son submits to the father so that the father might carry out his purpose for the son when he's on earth, right? I mean, if you see in John 3:16, only God's love for the world could explain why would the Lord send his son to die on the cross. I mean, he wouldn't have sent his beloved son whom he loved infinitely and eternally to die for his people on the cross. Like if you see the Romans, when they crucified, there are historical evidences that none have survived the crucifixion. It's such an excruciating, painful death. I mean, they used to bleed alive and die. So God knew what it would take his son to die on the cross. And he gave up everything just so that his son would save the world, would redeem the world. To save the world that he loved, God was willingly ready and very much willingly to endure the pain of losing his son. I mean, imagine a father to see a son take that path of loneliness, take that path of pain, excruciating pain, to go and carry the sins of the world, to redeem the world. I mean, the cross actually makes love believable. If you knew the gospel of the cross, if you knew how people would be crucified in those days, you would understand that how much it takes for a person to willingly give themselves up for a death like that. I mean, many atheists and critics find a loving God difficult to imagine, but they overlook the God who chose to embrace suffering in the cross. I mean, they just don't want to, they're not able to understand, or they're not able to embrace the idea of a God who could give his son and would embrace suffering on the cross. It's just mind blowing. It's still mind blowing to me. So another thing I wanted to share was a parable from Matthew 13:44, where it's a parable of a hidden treasure. So I just found this extract, and one of the books called is Extravagant Love. It gives a beautiful insight into the parable. He says that the kingdom of heaven is like a treasure, hidden treasure in the field, where a man found it and he hid it again, and then in his joy went and sold all that he had and bought that field. Yeah. So one of the interpretation of that would be the man who found the treasure is Jesus, right? And the field is the world, and the treasure is God's people in the world. So all God wanted was the treasure, but in order to get that treasure, he had to pay the price for the field. The price for the field was high. It costed him all that he had, but he did it with joy because he knew that the value of what he was getting in that treasure. The only person who knew the treasure and the value was Jesus. He bought the field and he leaves it to his servants and ministers of God to recover that treasure. I mean, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. It's uh, it's something that God found. God was seeking, was searching for such a long time, and he found that. So, I mean, just one um, video is not enough to actually talk about God's love. But it's just a small gist of this huge picture of what God is, of what God's love is. Maybe some other time I will just talk about God's love, and I know God's love itself can go into many parts. So, but since we're looking at John 3:16 and the four parts, so the first part was talking about God's extravagant love and his grace. So I hope to make another video on the other three parts. So thank you so much. So I hope you are blessed by this video. Take care. Bye bye.